All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we recap everything that happened down here in Santa Clara on a Friday. Check out Pig and a Pickle, 2 locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And this 49er football season is also presented by Sleeper on the Krug Show, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chat, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use the promo code Larry and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right, Niners getting ready to take on the Jaguars Sunday. It's alumni weekend, and a bunch of 49er alums will be in town. That's always a fun weekend. Can the 49ers slow down the Jaguars' top-tier defense? Jacksonville has 9 takeaways, 7 interceptions. They lead the NFL in both categories. They had 9 takeaways all of last year. They have 9 takeaways thus far this year. So they're 6th in points allowed defensively, 10th in yards allowed. Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker off the defensive end spots are really, really good. Jacksonville is 9th best as far as pressure rate. They blitz on 32.3% of the snaps, and that's 14th in the NFL. So mid-pack as far as blitz rate. But they're number 2 in EPA per play, and they're a really good defense with speed on all 3 levels. So Jacksonville rolls in. They're 2-1. Niners are 3-0. Niners are 3.5-point favorites. Jacksonville has lost 7 straight games after a win, and they won last week. So they're 2-5 against the spread coming off a win. You know, one of the key guys, I think, for Jacksonville's defense to avoid in this game is Jordan Lewis, the former Cowboy, who's the nickelback. He's already got 2 interceptions and a forced fumble. He's a big play guy. Jordan Lewis, a really good player, and you know, to me, it's like if you could steer clear of him, you want to. Brock Purdy is going to start. Kyle Shanahan gave us the news. Personally, I think that they ought to go with Mac Jones, but they're going with Brock Purdy. Purdy says the toe feels good. He's practiced Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. To me, he looks a little bit less than 100%, but Jones also has an injury that he's battling, a knee injury, and Kyle says Purdy looks better and Purdy's healthier, so Purdy's going to go in week 4 here against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, yesterday, Robert Saleh said that Liam Cohn and his assistants, many have come from Minnesota, are great at sign stealing, which is legal, but he says they're really good at it. Today in Jacksonville, Liam Cohn had this to say about that revelation yesterday from Robert Saleh.
Sign stealing? Is there any thoughts to that? I mean,
yeah, I'm not going to speak on that fully right now. You know, have a huge game for us coming up this weekend. Got a great defense that we've got to go and attack, and that's where our whole mindset and mentality is right now.
Were you surprised he went there?
Yeah, again, we're really trying to focus on a darn good defense that we have to go and try to go attack and offensively get better, about us getting better, putting it together for 4 quarters and trying to create some explosives in the pass game, some of those things that we're, you know, trying to get better at as an offense. And so that's where the focus is right now.
Forgetting his comments, isn't that part of coaching, is trying to figure out whatever tell your opponent has?
Yeah, I mean, we have kind of typically, by formation, by game plan, by working really hard as a coaching staff throughout the week, trying to get indicators by your formation, motion, shift, pre-snap. Those are the things that you're trying to do as a coach if you're you know, trying to put your players in the best position to be successful, whether it's attacking man or zone coverage with your formations, motions, and concepts. So it's a lot of hard work that goes into game planning and trying to put your players in the best position to be successful.
You mentioned the explosives on offense earlier in the week.
There you go, a little bit of Liam Cohn, a little back and forth there between Saleh and Cohn. The 49ers will be looking for the Jaguars to steal their signs this weekend. Jacksonville leads the NFL, by the way, with 10 drops. They've had a lot of problems dropping the football. 6 last week, 3 from Brian Thomas Jr., who's one of the best young receivers in football. I think the big question for the 49ers going into this game is how do they compensate for not having Nick Bosa? Will Saleh blitz more without Nick Bosa? Trevor Lawrence has been sacked, on 2.5% of his dropbacks in 2025. So that's the second lowest rate in the entire league. He's getting rid of the ball quick. He's getting it out. They're running the ball, and he's not giving teams a chance to sack him. Bosa, by the way, with Bosa, Robert Saleh has blitzed about 20 to 21% of the time. Without Bosa, he's blitzed 31.9% of the time. Trevor Lawrence, by the way, has thrown 13 interceptions when blitzed since 2021. So expect the Niners to bring the blitz. As far as, the Niners making a trade and getting another defensive end to help without Bosa, the trade deadline's November 4th. And I do expect the Niners will be active at the trade deadline, but that's a ways off. Before they're going to get help for Nick Bosa. Now, in Bosa, they lose a guy who was the second pick in the 2019 draft. And since he's been in the league, he's been fourth in pressure rate, fourth in sacks, second in quarterback hits. Really, he's been incredible. He's eighth in sacks created for others, ninth in pass rush win rate, he's a 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end. He had surgery today, successful surgery in LA. So Bosa, successful surgery on the ACL, but still done for the year. One of the key matchups to watch in this game, Demo Lenore against Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. leads Jacksonville with 4 drops. He was great last year. He had 10 touchdowns. Now he gets Lenore, who's allowed only 6 receptions in 3 games. Thomas has only 7 receptions on the year. Trevor Lawrence has thrown 4 interceptions in 3 games, which is second most in the NFL. And his receivers have dropped 14 passes, most in the NFL. So I think that will be an interesting matchup. Can Demo Lenore shut down Brian Thomas? Jauan Jennings did practice. I would expect that he is going to play. Pearsall, Trent, all practice today. C.J. West, Jordan Watkins, Yatir Gross-Matos, and Renardo Green did not practice. So that's something to watch for. Can the Niners stop Jacksonville's top 5 rushing attack is one of the big questions as well. Jacksonville is number 1 in the NFL in EPA per outside rush. With Trevor Etienne and Bayshul Tootin have a ton of speed. Etienne's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. Jacksonville is running inside the tackles 68.9% of the time, 5th highest rate in the NFL. 31% of the time they're running outside, which is 28th in the NFL. But as I said, they're first in the NFL in EPA on the outside rush. So they're running a lot inside, but when they do, and they're running less outside, but when they do run outside, they're having success. So can the Niners stop this Jacksonville rushing attack? That's going to be the number 1 key in this game. Another key matchup is Trayvon Walker, the former number 1 pick overall, against Trent Williams, who's arguably the best left tackle of his era. Demarcus Robinson returns, and from his 3-game suspension, the 9-year vet has over 250 receptions and 27 career touchdowns. And I expect Robinson's going to hit the ground running and play right away. Bryce Huff, without Nick Bosa, I think it's going to be a guy to watch. He's going up against a Jacksonville offensive line that's already allowed 9 sacks in 3 games. So look for Huff and the Niners to get home on Trevor Lawrence. The Niners offense, by the way, has the 6th highest EPA on non-blitzes, but is 25th in the NFL when pressured. So expect Jacksonville to pressure Brock Purdy, and we'll see if the Niners can handle that pressure. Did get an indication today that Malik Mustafa is targeting a Week 6 return, so that's still a couple weeks off. Another thing to watch in this game on Sunday is the Niners' passing attack against the Jags' pass defense. The Niners offensively, they're a team that's 7th in yards per game, but they're 23rd in points per game. Kyle Shanahan's offense is 10th in EPA versus single high safety looks, 11th in EPA against 2 high safety looks. Ricky Pearsall's 10th in the NFL, by the way, on deep pass EPA, so expect Ricky to have another really good game. Where this game could really hinge is in the red zone. Red zone offense is key for the Niners. CMC has had 13 carries for 7 yards in the red zone. So the Niners have got to be better at that if they want to win this game. And then, Jacksonville forces a ton of turnovers. They force turnovers on 26.5% of drives, best in the NFL. They forced 3 turnovers in each game, 7 interceptions against Bryce Young, Jake Browning, and C.J. Stroud. It will be up to Brock Purdy to make sure he takes care of the football. Jacksonville has faced the 4th most pass attempts in the NFL. So they have seen an awful lot of pass attempts, and that's probably a big reason that they've had the numbers they've had. And, one other thing, I asked Kyle Shanahan, why is Liam Coen so good at running the football? Because he's had a lot of success running it. And he says, he really sticks with it. He said a lot of coaches won't stick with the run after the initial drive or two. He says Coen's really good at sticking with the run. So expect the 49ers to have to defend Jacksonville's really good run game for all 4 quarters. All right, thanks to Pig in a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.